All right. Sometimes you hurt in order to grow, lose in order to gain, because life's greatest lessons are learned through pain. There have been some people going around talking about the fact that somehow I've turned my back on indie comics. Some of that is because I now refer to indie as INDEE. I reinvented what indie stood for, and I cover comics, regular comics, Marvel and DC. Oh my! I wanted to quickly address that today. I wanted to do so to let everyone know the why behind this sudden shift, and without going into every aspect of it, the simplest way I can break it down to people is that I've always loved comics. When I got into indie comics, I was almost taught that I had to somehow have a grudge against the people above us. I was given the idea that indie needed to be like this solidarity that was against mainstream, and I realized later that that was just a way to manipulate people and have them kind of fall in line to support each other, to back each other's projects. Realistically, it was just a way to control younger creators. And I saw this as these creators would go off onto signing publishing deals within, comics, and turning their back a lot of times on people. And I realized, and it's never fun to realize when you've been manipulated into believing something that's not true. It's like Santa Claus all over again. Doesn't mean I don't have passion and love for independent creators. That's never going to change. It just means that I now understand that I don't have to be angry at anyone above me who's been successful. I don't have to have a grudge against them because they beat me to being more popular. I realize now that the love of comics always has to come first, and it always has to be something that's more important than everyone, including myself. I didn't turn my back on independent creators. I've always given them a platform. I've always tried to help them get their word out. What I've done is I've turned my back on the idea that somehow comics as an industry is separated between levels. It's not. We're all in the same group. And we see that as you see these pros step down and come into indie comics, because they've always been part of independent comics. They've always been part of the industry that we as creators are out there being part of and killing ourselves to be part of. This is not a difference of opinion. It's just being more honest about how I've always felt. And yes, I want to help independent creators, but I want to talk about comic books. I love comic books, and I'm not going to be ashamed of that. If some of you feel like this is somehow a betrayal to you, I can't control that. That's fair. That's fine for you to feel that way. I don't. I feel it's just being honest, that I have no grudge against anyone, and I don't want to have a grudge against anyone for their success. I want to see independent creators get their work out there. I want to see the Marvel and DC succeed. I have no reason to want them to fail. I love comic books, and I love some of the comics coming out of Marvel and DC. I just wanted to clarify that before we started the news today, that I still support independent creators. That's not changing. It's just changing that we're covering all aspects of comics, because this is an industry I love, and an industry that I want to see successful and way into the future of millennial from now on. I want comic books to still be here. And if I can be part of that, even a small part of that, by being a cheerleader for comics, not creators, not companies, but comics themselves, then I think I'm doing everything right. And now let's get on with the news. From the Comics Newsroom, it's time to get you wired in and get your daily dose of the comics news, hosted by Mr. Anderson, who is the unboxable, uncanny, advocating creator who will tempt you with his devilish tales of fetish monsters and more. Join him and his co-hosts as they give you the news coming off the Comics News Wire. Brought to you in association with ComicBookAdvocates.com is the global digital Comic-Con, but it's more than that, and you can be more too. Be more than just a fan. Become an advocate for comics, like ComicBookAdvocates.com is for their creators, for their crowdfunding, for the very books they're creating, because we love comics.
At Geek Insider, we foster relationships with those in the geek sphere so we can give our audience the insider view of entertainment, tech, and more.
Subscribe to IndieVolt.com to recharge your fandom and to get an education. Be sure to check out all of the IndieVolt programming on the Nines with hosts like Randy Zimmerman, The Kid, Varian Grant, the Indie Princess, with more hosts and shows to come. Welcome. It is Friday, September 18th. We're almost all the way through September. This is CNW Comics Newswire. You're going to be seeing a lot of co-hosts. Demon Phil is definitely an interesting co-host to have on because he's a great guy. He's also a cheerleader for comics as well. What did you think about my speech? Are you mad at me for not just being indie anymore?
No, not at all.
All right.
Comics. I mean, it's a way to get away from all the stuff that's going on in the world and everything. So it's your escape. So I mean, it can be anything as long as it's good stuff. I don't care.
I never realized that people had used it as a mind trap, and I don't think I'm easily, convinced of things, duped, if you would. But I think that there are people out there who have spread the message that we need to think indie, so we stay indie. And I think that's a way to try to keep people down without telling them that's what it is. Oh, no, you need to support indie, so you need to support my book. You need to buy my book and learn how I do things, and then we'll talk about you later. We'll get to you someday. Well, someday it might be your turn. And I'm all about earning your spot. Don't get me wrong. I think that you do need to earn your place in comics. Excuse me. I think that you absolutely need to get an education. I believe what Randy Zimmerman says wholeheartedly. I have no doubts about any of that. But ultimately, when you really think about it, we shouldn't be calling ourselves indie creators. We should be calling ourselves comic book creators. We shouldn't have that divide. We shouldn't accept a label that somehow diminishes us. Who's your publisher? Well, I independently publish should be the thing. That's what indie comics was about. That's why it was Let Me Indie when I created that new spelling of it. It was stepping away from what everyone else had kind of, to me, tainted in a way. By having that extra I in there, it was always about them. It was always about what they wanted and their control of it. So we're here to talk about news, though, not me. So let's get into some amazing news. We're going to start over. Let's see here. We're going to start over with our indie portion of the news. So this is the part of the news where we always talk about the indie comics side of the news, because that's coming from the independent creators. See, indie, it's from the indie side. Those creating independent things. Doesn't mean they're not comic book creators. Ultimately, everyone should call it, if you created a comic book, you're a comic book creator. I want you to start adapting that. And the first time I realized I was a comic book creator, I didn't think to myself, ooh, I'm an indie creator. No, I was like, wow, I'm a comic book creator. So I want you guys to adapt that. And today we're going to do play the big sounds for the indie news. And we're going to be talking about all the great things going on, including Demon Phil. Demon, what do you have? Ooh, wrong one. What do you have going on for us? What's up with the YouTube? Talk to us. Let us know what's up.
As everyone pretty much knows, I'm going through a rebrand. So switching over from the company that I was formerly with, switching over now to which was branded by the fans as the Demon Nation, which I am greatly honored by them going up with that. But in doing so, on YouTube, I am at 95 subscribers right now and just trying to grow that out. Now, the first thing everyone starts thinking is, you just want to be monetized. You just want to be monetized. I'm going to tell you right now, it's no longer as easy to be monetized on YouTube as you think. 2,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours. of
Is
viewers.
it 2? They kicked it up to 2,000 now?
Yes.
Damn.
So here's my thought process, though. This is not about being monetized. This is about getting that extra exposure out there for my guests, because I have a lot of guests that come on a weekly basis, and I'm trying to get them as much exposure as possible. If I can do that by getting more people involved and getting more people sharing this out, it helps in the long run with the guest. That's why I do this. So please jump over there to the YouTube, take a look at it, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe, and then share. That's the biggest thing. Once you finish all it up, share it out and make sure we get as many people on there as we possibly can.
And Demon Phil is going to be our co-host for the rest of the show today. And I really would appreciate it if you guys could get him to 100. What you don't understand is that first 100 mark allows him to change his channel's name. So he gets a cool name with it. And believe it or not, once you hit 100, okay, YouTube starts taking you a little serious. You got to get to 500 next. And we'll be having Demon Phil on, I'm sure, randomly, on and off. And one of the reasons we're doing co-host also is, while Demon Phil probably will never take over a show for me because he's got enough of his own on his plate, and he'll understand what I'm about to say when I say this. I love doing the news. I love doing comic book advocates. I would rather not do it 5 days a week.
Right.
So right now, I'd rather have 2 people take over on the ends. Someone do the Monday show, someone do the Sunday the Friday show, and I would pop up on the Monday show and maybe co-host, but it would be their day. And on Fridays, if I could, maybe I would show up and co-host. Maybe they'd bring in a co-host. Another reason we want co-host, this is a great way to get to know a creator, because as we're going through these different stories, you're going to see Demon Phil, even if he means or doesn't mean to, actually drop some information about the things he likes, and you get to see the human side of him. That's getting to know people. So if you want to be a co-host, please send us an email at COMiX Wire, COMiX News Wire. That's COMiX, COMIX. Newswire at yahoo.com. Go to the YouTube channel for Indie Vault, subscribe, and you can actually see all the different graphics we have. But before we go any further in the news, because I wanted to get the plug for Demon Phil in here and over with before we did this, now we're going to, because we might have some opinions, and we want you to know that our opinions are not. Warning and disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this live feed are those of the guests, speakers, and or hosts, and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs, official policies, ethics, or positions of the content providers, advertisers, additional hosts, and or guests, hosting sites, groups, or entities attached to this programming. Viewer discretion is advised. And that counts for the first thing I said when I opened the show, but I wanted to do the Saturday Night Live cold opening. So we're going to move on, but definitely subscribe. So close. Five people and he breaks 100. How hard is that? There are probably, 8 people watching right now, according to our numbers, if those numbers are real, because I know there's some Facebook issues going on right now. Are you noticing that? Are you having some StreamYard and Facebook problems?
Very much.
Yeah, there's been rolling problems where we're muted. You're here with me, so now I know you can hear me, so I must not be muted, and Meredith had said something, and we'll get to her comments in a second. Yep, and it just for the record, guys, I'm checking my phone now. When you're on StreamYard, for some reason now, more than ever, no matter what you do, the minute you go live, it goes to private. Not private, just friends. And when you're on just friends, it does not send out a signal. Believe it or not, it keeps it very, you have to basically have your friends looking for you. Comic Book Black Belt has subscribed, so we are at 96. We are going to check back by the end of the show. Let's see if we can get this to 100. Come on, guys. Help us out. 96, just 4 to go. All right, so here we go with onto the indie news. And the other side of it is a crossover event. Hours, if not days, in the making. Hey, everyone. Did you know Guano Guy did a crossover? Well, obviously you know now. That's right. Guano Guy tried to join forces with Geek Girl. And now, through the power of friendship, Geek Girl creator Sam Johnson has graciously, generously, and gloriously added Geek Girl 5, 6, and 7 to Guano Guy campaign. Experience Guano Guy's attempt to cash in on someone else's fame and grow bigger by proxy. Geek Girl is available as an add-on in a few specially designed pledge levels. How cool is that? 2 creators working together. Great. There's Mark Darden. And the one thing I noticed is you can't play Facebook video lives from here for some reason, like it won't play. but that's okay. As the next thing is unavailable. Facebook, I love you. But what we'll do is we'll go over here, and this is where you can find it. And you know what? I don't know if this will play right this way. Maybe we can do something bigger and better. What do you think? Should we do something bigger and better for this one?
But we can give it a shot.
All right. Why don't we give him the whole screen and ask Mark what he's talking about in our studio? Mark?
Hi, everyone. Did you know the Guano Guy did a crossover? Well, obviously you do now. That's right. Guano Guy tried to join forces with Geek Girl. Mr. Marvelous N was there too. But let's not worry about him right now, because this is about the power of friendship. That's right. Creator Sam Johnson has graciously, generously, and gloriously added Geek Girl 5, 6, and 7 to the Guano Guy campaign. Thank you, sir. Oh, thank you. Experience Guano Guy's attempt to cash in on someone else's fame and grow bigger by proxy in Geek Girl 5, 6, and 7. Now with the Guano Guy.
That's what I like to see, creators working together. Well done. Well done. Great way to cross promote. Good stuff going on. Have you backed it yet, Demon Phil?
I have it in my saved list. I think he's still got a few days left, right?
Oh, he's got a plenty amount. We just launched it. This is, of course, going to be a Terraform book as well. Remember, on Kickstarter, unlike Indiegogo, your pledge comes out on the day it ends. A lot of people get that confused because Indiegogo right away out of your bank account. And I just had a little bit of problem with my cards this morning. So it was one of those days where I'm like, oh, no, this stuff again. So sometimes things happen, but you can't put the money in. Indiegogo is one of those harder choices where you have to do it right away, where Kickstarter, you later are like, uh-oh, my card failed. What happened? Why did my card fail? What is going on? But yeah, Guano Guy, great creator. Very excited for him. And you guys can see now it's playing. So apparently Facebook decided to start working while we were on live. So good for you, Facebook, doing your job. How awesome are you? All right, so this is the crossover event. This is unavailable, so I don't even know what it was supposed to be. I apologize. We can't even, the video can't be embedded because it contains something owned by someone else. Fantastic. Don't even know what that, oh, I know what that was. This might have actually been something for Geek Insider. They just did a video. Go to Geek Insider's page and you'll see that. And I promise I'm going to pass it back to Demon Phil in a second. But this was just a quick video about your perception of yourself versus what everyone else sees. It's a good video to watch. Sometimes you have to understand you don't come across the way you expect to come across, or even when you watch a video, Demon Phil, you ever go back and watch your old videos to learn?
I do quite often, actually, just to make sure that I haven't, overstepped or talked about anything that I wasn't supposed to, or led somebody in the wrong way or whatever, just to always make sure that I'm on my P's and Q's with everything.
You ever notice that when you're watching it, sometimes you're giving yourself excuses? Oh, I know I sound mad because that day I was this, and that. And you forget to step back and go, no, wait, no one else knows why I'm mad because I'm not talking about it. Maybe and I do try to see that. And I talked about that in the video. And even like lately, people have been saying that I seem cuddlier and happier and softer. And I actually don't feel any happier. I don't feel happier. I do feel relieved because there are certain situations that I've cut a lot of toxic stuff out of my life and a lot of people who are being toxic, and I've focused on very positive things. And I do believe that when you start focusing on positive, so many attacks of me and I just don't care anymore. Keep coming at me. I'm going to keep rising. And that's really what my goal. And my one of my best friends, Alex, who, for those who read Cat Dad and Supermom, Potato Butt is based on Alex. It is literally my son's godfather who's in that book. And he said, he's like, you know what it is? You're just such a goal-oriented person that once you realize something is getting in the way of your goals, you just cut it out and you're focused back on what you want. You don't let people drag you down no matter what they do. It's like, you've dealt with a lot and you're still going. He's like, I'm impressed by you. I know other people probably are too. They just don't see the in-between. They don't see how much this affects you. And he's like, sometimes you don't even see it. You don't pay attention to how much it's affecting you because you just keep going. You don't care. You know, I'm the guy who gets shot in the middle of the war and not realize I was shot for 3 days until I got back to base camp. And was like, why are my clothes dirty here? They're sticking to me. What's going on? It's just what it is. But this is pretty cool, Demon Phil. Let's talk about this. Do you know what this is?
That's Elysian Fields, isn't it?
No, this is actually the Shepherd, which has just recently been picked up by Scout COMiX. I don't know if you know what's going on over at Scout COMiX, but Scout COMiX has some great things happening. They're rebranding in a way. They're actually keeping the main Scout, but having shoot-offs. So there's going to be one for Scoot, which is going to be a kid-friendly, like younger 4 to 12 ages. And then they're going to have a Pyramid. I think it's pure. I have to look it up. Let's actually go straight to this so we get it right. But they have this whole new section coming up, and it'll actually mention it here. Oh, Black Caravan. So Black Caravan explores the darker side of creator-owned comics, high-end art, and collectibles. How cool is that? This is coming from Scout. The Shepherd Volume 1 is scheduled to be published by Scout COMiX horror imprint Black Caravan in January 2021. It will have a new 12-page mini story illustrated by the talented Luna. You want to give a go on that name?
Pancharoli?
All right, I'll go with that. And colored by the equally talented Pamela Pogalaro.
I'll let you have that one.
Yeah. Apologies for us ruining your name. That's just part of the live show environment. No one ever gives us a pronunciation. And sometimes I do. I'll ask guests before they come on, how do I pronounce your name? I know it sounds stupid, but I'm going to get it wrong unless you help me. And I write it down in my notes, and I have it. And I write it how it sounds to me so I don't screw it up. But this looks amazing. I'm really proud of the Shepherd. The Shepherd, of course, left Caliber Comics to go to Scout COMiX because Scout is making some great waves, doing some great stuff. Very proud. Mr. Molinari is actually a friend of mine. We've been on the road. We've sat and he's a great guy. If you haven't had him on, Demon Phil, you should get him on your show. He's
not as of yet, but yeah, I can definitely look into it.
His mind, the way he thinks, and his education will blow you away. Man, I say, like, sometimes you're in a room and you don't know who the smartest person is. And that might mean you're not the smartest person. Sometimes you're in a room and you know you're the smartest person. And then when you're in a room with Mr. Molinari, you know, there's no doubt you are not the smartest person in the room at all anymore. And in moments like that, don't feel ashamed. Shut up and listen. Get educated by the people who are smarter in a room than you. Let's do some comments before we go on because we got some people saying some stuff. Did you find a co-host? For today, yes. In general, no, Luke. Do you want to be a co-host? You can be a co-host on any show, and we can talk about hybrids. By the way, breaking news, I didn't even think to add this today, and I'm glad that you brought it up, Luke. Hybrids has been extended. It will continue for 30 more days. So let's play a quick bump for hybrids so you guys know what we're talking about. They extended it on Indiegogo. It's apparently a cool thing with the cool kids to extend an extra 30 days. So Luke decided, why not? Let's get another 30 days in. Let's make some more fans. Let's make some more people excited about it. Let's take the extra time and really get this out to as many people as we can. With that in mind, this is a quick 30-second bump for hybrids.
New from Terraform Comics, Hybrids, The Sons of Gods, Volume 1, Trash Day. When everyday people develop godlike abilities, it is up to a small band of heroes to expose an evil superhuman trafficking ring. This 128-page volume merges history with fiction in an exciting, fast-paced adventure. Get your copy now.
And you can get that by going to Indiegogo and just typing in hybrids. You don't even do this. I don't think there's anything. Well, don't put hybrid. You get some weird stuff. I learned that. Hybrids, pluralize it, and you'll find it right away for those listening on the radio. Valerie Pierce says, yes, the love of comics always has to come first. And there's a mistake I'd made that I plan never to make again. Meredith says, good morning, Rob. And I'm sure she means good morning to you as well.
She never loved me.
No, this was when you weren't on the screen yet. She didn't know it was coming. I promise. She didn't know. Lance, I read your comment. Don't worry about it. It's all good. You're fine. I get it. Life's busy. Meredith goes on to say, news should be universal. No? Why box yourself into just indie, right? And for so long, and have you heard that since you've gotten into indie, that it has to be independent comics first? And when you start looking around, you realize the people kind of saying it are the same people that you have to kind of look at like, well, why are you saying that?
Not really. I mean, with the guests that I get on, to be honest, it's just because they're so hungry and they're so passionate about their work. That's why I have them on, because used to when I first started, I was going out and I was having to search out to find my guests. Now they're actually contacting me, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to tell them no, that I can't get them in within the next 5 days or whatever, because I'm booked all the way until the middle of November right now. So it's all about that passion and that fire to want to, do something with your work.
Yeah, and he's on 5 days a week doing these interviews, grinding. I mean, I don't know anyone else who does interviews I can't. My biggest problem with interviews every day is simply the fact that some people don't show up. So I'm always nervous as hell about that. Because when someone, or they bring in a tech issue, they ask you at the last minute, well, hey, is it a good idea that I just, I don't know, do this outside at a beach because I decided today was beach day? And it's like, no, it's not okay to be at the beach. But here you go. Meredith made it up to you.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, see, Demon Phil in the co-host seat today. Woo woo. Afternoon, comic book Black Belt. How you doing?
Since it's the demon and the devil, is that like the hot seat?
No, the hot seat is if we brought someone in here to answer. Like, it'd be real bad. The two of us. No. You have to answer now. Now you have to answer. It's just that. Let's see. Joe D. Mafisa got 40 minutes till I go live with Amazonian #1 10th anniversary on Kickstarter. We'll catch the rest of the news on replay. Dude, send it out. Send it out to us. Let us get it out there for you.
I've been seeing stuff on Facebook about that, so definitely be paying attention. If he's going live in 40 minutes, y'all need to jump over there and grab it. I'm pretty sure it's going to have early birds and whatnot in there too.
Yep, that's probably very passionate too, Joe. Ralph says, any reason for leaving Caliber? Just wondering. I think it was just an opportunity to be part of something brand new. Who doesn't jump at that? Who doesn't jump to be a flagship comic for something brand new?
Well, if you're paying attention to Scout, it's a lot like chess. They're putting the pieces in motion. They've already set them on the board, and now they're starting to really move them. Pay attention to Scout. Do not look away from them because they're starting to make some major pushes out there. Yeah,
and look, man, there was no hard. I can tell you, there's no hard feelings over this change. Caliber's done great things. Caliber will continue to do great things. This was just an opportunity to be part of something new, and like Phil is saying, Scout's making waves. For those who don't know, Mr. Molinari's been doing a lot of editing for Scout, so it just kind of brings them under one umbrella. As a creator, sometimes it's easier being just with one publisher, so you don't have to worry about crossover. And I mean, he publishes the hell out of comics. So, not publishes, edits the hell out of comics. So he does a lot of editing. So I think it was just, end of day, it just made sense because he's been doing so much work there. You might as well just have one workplace, I guess. So nothing bad though. There's nothing to really talk about other than that. It was just a move. And that happens a lot in comics. One day, who knows, he might be back with a different book with Caliber. Because he's talked about other books I know that he wants to do. So you never close the door, guys. Never do anything that burns a bridge or closes a door for you. Be respectful, be humble, always on your moves. Lisa says, good morning to you both. Good morning, Lisa. How you doing? And
partner in crime on the business side with Dark Enterprises.
Oh, there we go. So we got you at least one more backer, Lisa. Not backer, subscriber this morning early on. Tori says, Advocate, what up, homie? What's up, Tori? How's it going, man? And good morning. Good morning. That looks awesome. All right, so we're going to get back to the news, guys, and talk about some more indie greatness that is coming out from the independent creators right now. So let's hop on back to here. And there's Meredith. Do you want to read this off? Can you read it, Phil?
Yeah, we had such a great time talking with Evan Bond and Scott Donnelly about their books, life as an author, and their inspiration and more. Check out the replay on Geek Insider's YouTube channel. Their links are in the show description. Now grab your phone and visit their Amazon author page and see what they've been writing. The QR codes will take you there.
Yeah, and that looks fantastic. The books that are up here, this is really cool, the kind of books they have. It gets me in the mood for Halloween, and I love Halloween. Oh,
Exactly.
I'm all giddy.
It's like Christmas.
And here's the actual video for you guys, so you don't have to go digging. We're going to be putting in all the videos from the Indie and Geek Insider, and even if Demon Phil wants us to put the videos for the days they launch, so when we do this, you guys can watch it. They supposedly have fixed where if they watch it on our site, you get the view credit. For a while, we stopped doing that because there was an issue and people would be viewing it on our site. So I only put all the things to my page, my YouTube on here, and I would use links. But supposedly that's been fixed now, so hopefully we can get you guys some views being part of the news program and on our site. Because for a while I didn't want to take anyone's views away. It made me, because I know there was a glitch somehow with WordPress and YouTube, but this new update said that they fixed it. So now I feel confident having it. So you'll see more videos on our site now. So this is pretty big news. This is coming from Scott Snyder. What do you think of this? I don't even know if you heard about this.
I had not heard about anything with that.
You want to read it? Go ahead, read it off.
What happens when man is no longer at the top of the food chain?
Oh shit! Like, and because Demon's here, and it's Friday, it's Casual Friday. We might throw a little curses out. So, because Demon's got a potty mouth. I mean, just you can't get him to stop cursing.
Yeah.
But you know, today's Casual Friday. That's why I get to wear a T-shirt today. Like he asked, he's like, "Do we have to put a tie on?" I was like, "I'm not even putting the tie on today. It's Casual Friday." And you know, eventually, when someone else takes over Fridays, maybe they'll have different rules, and I'll just have Casual Thursdays. I don't mind. We can make Thursday casual because eventually we hope to get back on the Comic-Con scene, and that means that Thursdays we might even be traveling. But a lot of times Thursdays I leave my house at noon if I have to travel within Florida, so I should be okay to get this show done. You might see some pre-tape shows in the future too. I'm just saying. I can't wait. Wouldn't it be great if StreamYard let us upload an hour-long video and we could just hit play and do comments in the background like they do with some other bigger places? That would be awesome. So check this out. Read this off for us, Phil.
When being interviewed about his documentary on comic book shops, Anthony Desiato, apologize.
No, that's right, actually.
Shared his thoughts on a key value of comic book stores. When you look at the really great shops and retailers, they're true ambassadors of comics to the public. Truth. They're the ones interacting with the buyers of these comics on a daily basis and have a sense of readers' taste and purchasing habits that they can only be forged through that interaction. That is a tremendous value. I agree with that. Whenever you go into your local comic shops and everything, having the books on tap is one thing. I mean, you can go in there and you can just, get it off the shelf and you're good and you're done. What makes it your personal comic shop is whenever you go in there and it's almost like a Cheers environment where they're like, Demon, they yell out and then they're like, hey, I just got this in. I didn't know if you'd be interested in this particular series. This might have, your taste in there. Do a little bit extra. That's all you have to do is just go ahead and it's all about the passion. It's all about what you put into it. It's not just the books themselves, but it's just in how you present yourself to everyone else.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that is, we talk a lot about the comic book shops having to evolve or die, and that's never meant as a dig. It's us caring enough to tell them. Let me tell you, when someone cares about you, they tell you the news you need to hear, not the news you want to hear, not the information you want to hear. Real friends, and I had it, man. I've talked about it on this program, and I'll keep it short because we got a lot to get to today. But I had people come up to me and go, Rob, you're making a mistake. You need to step back and you need to breathe. You're going too hard. And I didn't get mad at someone. I asked them, well, why? Tell me. Because sometimes I'm awkward. I'm all socially awkward. Sometimes I don't get it. And sometimes you're so angry you don't see it. You're in the middle of it. You can't breathe. And you do need that person to do that. But we love comic book shops. I still love. There are comic book shops when I drive to Orlando, I go because they're cool people, and I love it. There's one in Tampa right here, Emerald City Comic Books. I love Emerald, man. Anytime I can get out there, I get out there. New York's got a couple places I'll always go to. Midtown Comics, love going to Midtown Comics. So you just gotta. you got to understand that comic book shops are part of our industry. We should support them. You know, even if they don't take your book because you're a creator, you do have to understand they're looking at it as a business move. Tell them why they should take your book. No one ever does that. I've talked to a couple comic book shop owners in the last couple months. They said one of the biggest things people don't do when they're trying to pitch their books is tell them why. Bring in your Kickstarter numbers. Bring in your fan base. Tell people about, well, you know, I don't get here. I got my books in the shops just by going. I don't get up here very often. I can send them to you. And sure enough, they bought the books and they sold out. And I actually, I was supposed to send some more to a comic book shop, and then COVID, you know, happened. So, you know, I'm waiting to hear if they're, because they're up in New York area. So, you know, that's touch and go right now with all the rules they have. So you don't bother anyone right now. You know, I do suggest that if a comic book shop turns you down right now, understand they just might be financially strapped. Maybe offer to send them the books as a taste. Hey, I'll give you 2 or 3 books. You know, see what you can do with them. If you like what you get, contact me for more.
On that too is don't take no's as just an absolute no. Don't sit back and just go, okay, well, they didn't say they were going to take it and it's done. Here's what you need to do. And this is very simple advice. You go ahead and you create that online presence. You get your fan base and your following and everything on there, and you send those people out like basically like an army. If you go to the comic shop as a creator and you say, I want you to buy my book, most of the comic book shops are like, we're strapped. We don't have enough money. I'm sorry. But if you send 10 people that are underneath you that are, you know, passionate about your work and know what you do and decide that your book needs to be in those stores, 10 people go to that store, I guarantee you they will end up purchasing that book and put it in that store. It's going to happen. You got to have someone more than yourself going in there. So you have to send out your army to do this, but you got to create them. That's how you do it.
It's a great advice. Write it down. Make sure that you're trying to do that. We have Carlos Villas's art, man. This dude just so talented.
That's sick.
That would make a great T-shirt. He said second cover image for Angie Point, resurrected for FANDOM Mudun Publishing, available for commissions. And he's a great creator. So we got some cool art from Morgan. Do you want to read that for the audience?
Morgan Austin, Patreon community. He's relentless. And there is the link right there. No mercy, with all of his love on every single one of my...
He's doing this viral campaign, and at first I didn't know what he was doing, and then I started realizing it's clever. It's actually clever. You don't know what it is. I know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you. It's not what you think it is, though. I'll tell you that. This isn't what you think it is, but it is worth checking out and see about it. And no, she's not nude. Notice the lack of nipples. So please don't report this. They'll just laugh.
I wasn't paying attention, so I wouldn't know.
Well, no, you know, some people will watch, oh, there was a naked picture. No, this is not a naked picture. She is, in fact, wearing something, and I'll leave it at that. And this is also a sketch, guys. Don't be children about things, you know? All right, so here we go. Did you know this guy named JD?
Yes.
So JD had an episode with Mark Torres. You can check it out right here, and there you go. It's on YouTube now. And if I can, I put in the Facebook links to it too as well, so you can follow JD. You can actually click here and see who JD is. How cool is that? Technology is getting so, you can be so lazy now. I mean, I literally can have a banner for my site. This is on comicbookadvocates.com, and you just overlay it, and it pops up a link to who they are. So now you can check that out. How awesome is that? And then, did you hear about this? Major Holmes and Captain Watson? We'll read it for the fans who don't know about it.
Jeff Ryder is with Ismael Canales and 2 others, owner, writer, publisher of Cloud Wrangler Comics. Final day, majorholmes.com. That's the link for it there in the bio. When Major Sheffield Holmes, nephew to the great detective and his mysterious American partner, Captain Imogen Watson, solve a grisly murder in London's East End in 1914, they uncover a dark cabal that, I like that. Whenever you use that kind of word right there, that just shows darkness in there. I like that. That threatens to destroy the Holmes family and plunge the world into global war.
Of course, the demon likes a cabal and a dark one at that.
Oh,
Ricardo Ferreira says hello from Portugal. What's going on, man? Welcome to the show. And Lance says, if you ever get a cancellation, let me know. I'm always here to talk, Rob. Lance, I'd love to have you on the show on one of these things. If not on this or the Devil's Advocate. And I have some news about the Devil's Advocate, so stay tuned to the end of the program. Some programming changes happening with me and IndieVolt. They're good, though. Nothing bad. Don't worry. I don't mean to make anyone feel like something bad is happening. And make sure you check out all the great crowdfunding titles. By the way, today's crowdfunding link of the day, because we do this all the time, is going to be for Captain Holmes and Major Holmes and Captain Watson. Sorry, I got that backwards. So we're going to put that in the link right now. That's today's secret link of the day. So make sure you check that out. Just hours to go. Please, please, please. At least give it a look, give it a share right now. Now, there you can find all the other great crowdfunding right here by clicking Now Crowdfunding. And we're going to switch over because now it's time to talk about mainstream news. I know, oh my God, offensive. We're actually talking about comic books that aren't made in indie comics. How will we survive somehow? That is brought to us by IndieVolt. Recharge your fandom and subscribe today. And subscribe not only to the IndieVolt YouTube channel, but subscribe to IndieVolt.com itself and find out what's going on in comics. Ricardo says, have a great day in Super Comics. Yes. Yes, I love that energy. Because you know why? You know what's real? Do you know what, Demon Phil? Do you know what comics are?
That's a very vague question.
Well, I'll let Keanu tell you what comics are.
Comics are awesome.
They are. They are so awesome. Thank you. I like the fact that Keanu takes time out of his day to come to our show and hang out just for a second to remind us that comics are awesome. Speaking of awesomeness, oh my goodness. I'll let you. I have a crush on this girl, so I can't even talk anymore. I'm all flustered. Demon Phil, tell him.
She-Hulk cast Tatiana Maslany as MCU's Jennifer Walters. Demon approves.
I do have questions, though. Is she going to have green? I don't know how to say this without sounding perverted. I don't mean this to sound perverted. But is she going to have green, all over her body? Are they going to paint her green? Do you think they're going to CGI her? Because she's always She-Hulk. That's the difference. Jennifer Walters is actually always She-Hulk. So, and also, is she going to bulk up and get more? I mean, a beautiful actress, very great at playing parts. But, I mean, She-Hulk was always sexualized to be funny. And she was always, unless you look at the new She-Hulk, which they finally downsized her again a bit, but she's always been a bulky, not bulky, but like a very fit woman. So I wonder if she's going to have to do that Marvel workout where she gets ripped.
They can do that, but also if they're going to go classic with this, then she can actually be the courtroom style version of it. So it'll actually be more of a drama, courtroom cases, that kind of thing, not the actual superhero throwing things through buildings and whatnot all the time. I mean, it can be more of a courtroom drama series than it can be the action. So I mean, there's different ways they can go about doing this, and she can still look great in a business suit as She-Hulk because she did in the comics as well.
Yeah, and they could also make her CGI. Like that could be a possibility because I believe the character is supposed to be 7 feet tall. She is, and I know she's taller than Thor. Which, by the way, don't tell anyone, but there's a rumor that Thor and She-Hulk are having a relationship in comics right now. Don't tell anyone. You heard it from me though. And also this week, Iron Man's phone number got written on a hammer, and if you call that phone number, you can hear Tony Stark's messages. We had talked about it the other day on the news. Look it up. It's a real thing. It's a real thing, kids. Marvel's going back to using voicemails to entertain us, and I dig it. I like it. I like when there's little Easter eggs like that. But check this out, Demon Phil. Iron Man, another Avenger, just walked back into Tony Stark's life. Who do you think walked back in?
I do not know on that.
All right, let's play. Okay, she's a hot redhead.
So we're talking about Black Widow?
No.
No.
There's a deliberate. The reason I used hot wasn't just because the character's actually a good-looking character, but there was a deliberate reason. So like two redheads come to mind, and I was wondering if you would get either one of them. So who do you got? Who do you got?
Phoenix.
No, that's a good one. I didn't even think of Phoenix. The other one would have been the other wrong answer. I would have been like, okay, I can get that because the hint Firestar. Firestar would have been an acceptable. Okay, I get why you would think that, but no, Hellcat. Hellcat out of nowhere is coming back. So Tony Stark has given away his company. I don't know if you know this. Spoilers, kids. Put cotton in your ears so you don't hear this. He's given up his company, kept his money, of course, but given up his company, and he's trying to go back to basics. Like he's trying to just be Tony now, and less Iron Man, and like more grunge, I guess, garage days Iron Man. So he's hooking up, not hooking up. He's teaming up. Because you kids and your hookups, he's teaming up with Hellcat, and I don't think he's with. I think he's single right now. Is the impression I'm getting that the Pepper Potts and him aren't together anymore for some reason. I haven't kept up with the recent Empire thing, but I think a lot of things went wrong with Tony. Who gives up their business and all that just because things are going well? No one. All right, so you go ahead and read this one.
Animorphs graphic novel artist reveals approach to adapting classic book series.
Do you know that from back in the day?
I am not familiar with this one as much. No.
There were like novels for kids where these kids wound up becoming animals, and it was pretty popular for a while. My sister, I think, was reading a couple of them. That's how I knew about it. I think that's cool when they take old literature and update it, contemporaryize it with comic books. I think that's a step in the right direction for the comic book industry, seeing that we're having stuff no longer just adapted to movies, but we're now adapting literature, and I think that's always good. This is a pretty cool shot, and it's just a good shot, and it's the Marvel Comics December 2020 Solicitations. The Thing having what looks to be like almost a corned beef sandwich, but I don't think it's corned beef because he's got lettuce on it, so I can't make it out. And of all things, would you ever think of the Hulk having soup? It's just weird, right? Like something about the Hulk sitting there and having soup. It just does. You'd be like, I never thought that. Turkey leg, sure. Roast beef sandwich, absolutely. Giant hero, isn't that his breakfast? But soup, like the Hulk taking the time to eat soup. And I got a giggle out of it, Demon. It's like he's eating.
I don't know if they're trying to show a more like a gentle side of him through this painting or whatever, but it shows a different side of him. That's for certain, because normally, Hulk smash, but he's able to pick up a spoon and be okay.
Yeah, and that's the immortal Hulk, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
New badass Hulk who's causing some trouble, and of course this is an alternate cover. This is apparently the immortal Hulk and the Thing are going to have a thing. So they're going to have a problem, and there's a lot going on. You have the end of that Carnage, Venom, the Black, what is it? The Black King series is coming to a conclusion, and the Swords of X are coming to a conclusion. So I think this is a lot of ending of that and aftermath of those different events start in December. So a lot's going on with comics there. And, this is the Animorphs. In a science fantasy series of children's book written by Catherine Applegate and her husband, Michael Grant, writing together under the name K.A. Applegate and published by Scholastic. It is told in first person with all 6 main characters taking turns narrating the books throughout their own perspectives. And that's from Wikipedia, because I wanted to make sure people had a good explanation. I thought because we had a glitch in our programming today when I was doing a lot of this stuff where it, for some reason, wiped out the stuff. But so you guys know, if you go to my Twitter, which is not really my Twitter, it's actually, and I know I spelled Twitter wrong. When I spell things wrong, I have friends like message me later, you spelled it wrong when you searched it? And I'm like, yes, I know I did it wrong. So I have the Written Sins page from all the way back when we first started this, but now we go under Comic Book Advocates, and you can get there by just going to Comic Book Advocates in the search, and we pop right up, and you can see that I also drop all the information here too, including the Guano Guy information, some awesome retro styles and all that. You can see all the stuff that I'm following here on Twitter, because we're trying to be more active on Twitter. Remember, be more than just a fan, become an advocate for comics today. So you can see all the great stuff that we have going on and the things that we are sharing. There's industry news, there's non-industry news. It's all stuff to keep you guys entertained. So, Demon, tell them more about your page and the different videos you do. I'm going to call it back up.
Okay, so I have two main shows right now. I have a third show that I am working on. The main show that started it all was Hell of a Show. Hell of a Show is on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then on Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern on YouTube only. You won't see it on Facebook ever. On YouTube only is Unscripted. If you're not familiar with Unscripted, Unscripted is basically I open up the seats to creative team members who want to go ahead and jump up on a panel. We have a blast. We have fun. We talk about life in general and everything. 4 main rules govern all of my shows, which is no politics, no religion, no drama, and no negativity. By having those on there, I have no problems.
So you have guests? So you have no guests, huh?
I actually have quite a few guests. I mean, I really do, and it's
no, but those
rules. I enjoy the fact that I have those rules too.
Those rules. On them. That's why I can't be on a show. I'm always afraid to say something wrong. I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Actually, you've been a guest of mine before, and you were fine, so you didn't break any of the rules either.
Nice.
Kind of surprising, and it was a live show too. It wasn't recorded.
Well, cursing's the hardest one for me because a fuck will just fly out, and I don't even mean it to, and I'll be like, "Damn, I can't have that one back, can I? I don't get that one back, do I?"
I've had Chuck on my show, and I wasn't canceled, so I'm okay.
Yeah, Chuck. Oh, Chuck can be good though. I got to give him credit. We've done things for Cat Dad and Supermom. And he's been really good, and he's been able to do that. 96 still, guys. Come on, help us out. I'm going to drop that link again. We're going to put it out there for the world to see. We're going to do a couple more comments. And also, guys, just so you know, we also have the COMiX Newswire now, too. We added this. This is just newsroom stuff. So you'll never see tweets from anything other than us having news. So, and I'm going to put the Demon Phil channel out there in the Twitterverse. And I tagged the COMiX Newswire. So if you go to Twitter right now after we're off the show and look up COMiX Newswire, you will now see Demon Phil's link to his stuff because it's tagged in there. But talk to us about some of your guests that you have had on your platform.
Oh, wow.
Because there's guests.
Yeah, I mean, I've had Tom Hutchison has actually been on there more times than anyone else. I'll go ahead and throw that out there right now. He's been on there 8 times. He will be on there the 9th time on my show on the 24th, whenever we go ahead and do a recap of Comic Unity online con event. So I've had him. I've had Brian Polito on there 3 times to go ahead and interview him. I've had Monty Michael Moore. I had Jesse Witchman just last night, which was amazing. I've got Steph Wilson coming up next month. I stay booked until probably at least a month and a half, almost 2 months ahead. So if you do want to be on the show, reach out to me, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to get you scheduled in. But it is going to take some time to get you in. Just keep that in mind. So, and I hate being that way, but if you contact me and you say, look, I've got this Kickstarter starting tomorrow and I want to get on your show, I will do what I can to help share it, promote it, and put it up on my page and everything. But as far as getting you on the show, that's iffy at best on that, because I've already got people in a on a waiting list and everything as well for if anybody drops out. So just kind of keep that in mind, if you will, please. I'm no longer doing shows 5-6 days, 7 days a week scenario and just doing a whole bunch of interviews. I can't do that anymore. I did that whenever I first started. I'm staying on a schedule now because I'm actually going to start working on my own book, which I'm going to start writing starting next month, because I have quite a few people that are on my butt about getting this done, Meredith Loughran, and just need to make sure I start getting that worked on so they'll quit yelling at me so much. But yeah, it's definitely, I'm going to have it published and everything next year, which is going to be my first ever published work. So keep in mind that's going to be coming up, and that's in dealing with everybody that's on here and all. It's always about my guest. If you've ever watched any of my shows, it is never about me. So if you watch my shows, it always is about my guests, and I always have a closing statement at the end as well. So pay attention to those closing statements, because sometimes they're life changers. You never know. I mean, it might be something that'll just hit you just the right way. That'll be just something you can change not only in your career and your industry path and everything, but maybe in life, go ahead and make things a little bit better.
And Comic Black Belt says, comics are indeed awesome. Yes, they are. Meredith says, you too, Ricardo. Boom Dia. I hope I'm saying that right, because I'm hoping that's not English. I'm hoping I'm not being set up by Meredith.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ricardo says, if any of you need some help with graphic design, he's here to help. And he can send you a link for his work, if that's all right. And of course it's all right. If someone needs to get with you, again, subscribe to the Indie Volt YouTube channel so you can see Ricardo and his work and get his name so you can get some help with the design work that you need. And let's see, Meredith says, accountability buddies. I don't need accountability buddies. I'm the guy who makes people accountable. Let me tell you, the devil gets things done. And that's just the truth. Meredith knows what I mean, too. Meredith is giggling right now because she knows exactly what I'm talking about. But, yeah, I mean, Demon Phil, great guy. Thank you for being the co-host today. Hang out for a few minutes because I want to talk to you off air. And let's see if we got another subscriber to you. And then I'm going to announce some changes that are coming to my shows in Indie Volt. But, yeah, 96, come on, guys. I mean, I think I can subscribe to it from another YouTube channel I have, and I'll get you to 97 because we want him to get that 100 so he can get the Demon Nation name. You know, that's something we could do. So Meredith, if you got some extra YouTube accounts, if anyone can help him get to the 100, once you get that name in there, I'm telling you, it matters. So please do that. And with the links in our chat, thank you. And I'll put the link in the description once the video's done. I'll go back and put, not in the description, but in the comments. I'll make sure I put it in the comments. It's on my page, Anderson Rob, the only Anderson Rob on Facebook. So that's it. Demon, I'm just going to pop you out. No, I'm just popping you out because I'm going to talk for a minute. You can hang out. Actually, I'll just do it a different way. I didn't want to show your face, but I realize I'm not going to say anything bad. Usually when I talk, I try to get everyone out of the room so no one goes. Even Phil was there when Rob was talking, but I realized today I don't have to worry about that. I'm not doing anything wrong today. Yay! No one's going to be mad at me today. So here's some news. Obviously, we're doing the co-hosts. We're going to continue to do co-hosts. We're going to pick a co-host hopefully in the next 90 days. That's my goal, to pick 2 people to take over Monday and Friday shows. Because, again, I like doing the Monday show, but maybe I'll give them a Tuesday show, but eventually during the Comic-Con season, Mondays will be hard. And I have to understand and I have to look further. And I'd rather not cancel the Monday or Friday shows, but if I can't find a co-host, that's what I'll wind up doing by the end of the year is I'll just cancel Monday and Fridays, and I'll take the day off. I'm committing to keeping the Devil's Advocate going. However, the Devil's Advocate on a Saturday night is pretty hard when you're on the road. Saturday nights are the harder ones. While a Friday night, I could actually go live right as we're leaving the studio, right as we're leaving the event, because usually Friday nights the show goes longer. So we could actually go live from the actual convention centers or play a repeat of the Devil's Advocate. It's not like the news, so we could do repeats if we have to. So with that in mind, we are going to be moving the Devil's Advocate to Friday, which many of you guys know that, the Devil's Advocate has started off on Friday. This is where we talk about difficult topics that cause waves dealt with by civil discourse. And we're going to continue that. It'll be on Friday nights from now on. For those wondering, Freaky Friday will continue and now be the first Friday of the month and be part of the Devil's Advocate. And we are going to even have a topic this week. It's because we're doing the fall in the line with the industry standards. Oh my God, Becky, Keanu Reeves is on Kickstarter. Is the celebrity invasion of crowdfunding a good thing or a bad thing? So that's going to be tonight. Demon Phil, I don't even know if you're busy tonight, but if you're not, you can come by, talk to us about Keanu Reeves and how he's pissing people off online, take a side on it. We're going to announce it on social media in just a few minutes. So Friday nights, Saturday nights, we'll have new type of shows, and eventually there's a show we're going to test, which will basically be taking all the news elements from the week and talking about them on a Saturday night show. The catch is I don't want to host that show. I'm happy to set it up. I'm happy to give you content. We're even going to go to Twitter, not Twitter, to Facebook. and have a poll to see the top stories that they want different creators to talk about. And I'll probably be a guest more often than not if I'm free on a Saturday night. But we're doing all this because we want to grow interest, and I don't want to host a dozen shows a week. Varian's getting healthier, so Varian is going to be coming back and doing the Indie Volt shows, and we're going to be happy to see him. I've stepped in when I was needed, but Indie Volt will always be something. I show up the Indie Volt live show, and then I'll leave. I'll do comments, questions, and I'll leave. You'll see me in for maybe a half an hour on the live show on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 in the morning, right before the news. I'd rather not be on it. So I can't wait for Varian. I like being in the background, making comments, not being the host, because being a guest is always easier. Being a host, you have to do a lot more work. Mm-hmm. So I might still show up to these shows as a guest, but co-hosting, I'd rather get it down to less shows, less responsibility, and work in the background to produce these shows and make them great. So if you're serious and you want, and I know exposure is a dirty word in comics, but it's important. It really is important. So if you want to build up your brand by being part of a pre-established brand and showing you can be a professional and showing who you are, serious inquiries are welcome. Absolutely welcome. Don't take this as a joke. Don't think you're going to come in here and be funny. I behave on the news. We had a little fun today with Demon Phil. I said a couple curses, but for the most part, it's the professional tone. Anyone who's not professional will not be invited back, let alone be given an opportunity to be a host. And that's it, Demon Phil. You get the last word today.
So I always close out my shows with pretty much the same statement. I'm going to go ahead and put it on here because it works out very well, and it's something you really need to think about. Is you throw a pebble into a pond, you get a ripple. You get enough people throwing, pebbles and rocks into that same pond, you get the waves of change. So keep that in mind whenever you're thinking about not only the industry, but life in general. Get out there and start throwing the pebbles out there, and let's go ahead and start moving things around for everybody, not just for ourselves.
Absolutely. I love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. And that's it. We're out of here, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tonight at 9 p.m. as the Devil's Advocate takes over Friday nights, as it always should be, because it's Friday nights are where the energy is, and so will the devil. See you later.